All right. Start with my stupid intro. Make sure we're good. Come on, Zoom. Come on, Zoom. Don't do it to me. All right, cool. Correcting. All right, good to go. Hello, everyone. Copywriters, content writers, people that just are unfortunate enough to stumble upon these two weird looking faces on your screen. So today we are doing something a little bit different. So every week we talk with copywriters that are good at writing copy. And we have up to this point been looking at copy that they've written themselves. But today we decided to do something different because we have the pleasure and honor of having a talk with Justin Blackman. And Justin, I'm going to let him talk in a second, I swear. But Justin is really, really good at inserting and injecting personality into copy. And I think that's something that a lot of copywriters just naturally have an issue with. Not because they're boring people, but because they don't know how to translate that personality into their copy. So really happy to have Justin here. Justin, how's life? How's it going?
Things are good, man. I wasn't sure where you're going with that intro. Because like, normally we talk to good writers, but this week we're doing something different. I was like, that sounds about right.
Yeah, no, I wanted to keep it PG. Keep it.
There goes my whole presentation.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited for today because Justin and I, we met in real life at the Copywriter Club conference, which was like, it still seems pretty recent, but it's like 2.5 months ago now. And I'm still trying to ride that wave.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to really, dig into this because I think, so we're going to be looking at some email copy. And I think this is a situation that, like I said, a lot of copywriters, they approach client work or their own emails with kind of just, they want to put personality in because of course they want to be themselves. But then when it starts to come out and once they start to kind of veer towards the objective that they have to kind of have, that personality just kind of gets sucked out of it. So really quick, Justin, why do you do personality stuff? Like how did this all come about? Like, why are you who you are?
It's just more fun that way, man. That's really it. It's if it's not fun, why do it? Yeah. So it's I've always studied stand-up comedy. I remember being like 5 years old in the Walden Books in the Livingston Mall up in New Jersey. My parents shopping and just like sitting in a bookstore reading a book on stand-up comedy. Mm-hmm. Well, like my mom went shopping, which is bad parenting. Don't do that. Plus, there are no bookstores and malls anymore. But it was just something I've always been fascinated with it. My dad was funny and I just had to keep up with him. And, just these weird ways of connecting random thoughts, and people laughed. It made me feel good. And I was like, I just want to do more of that. So it's always been a part of who I am. I started off stealing from comics that I shouldn't have been watching when I was a kid and telling those jokes to my friends on the playground, getting laughs there. Then I was kind of shy growing up. So I used to write jokes for the class clowns, and it was fun. I literally would write jokes for them. Or like I'd whisper jokes to them, like the teacher would say something, I'd whisper it to the class clown, and they would say it and get the laugh. And then one day I started saying it, and I got the laugh. I was like, oh, this is better. So, I've always just kind of liked being fun, and kind of got a reputation just for being the more of the silent funny type. Because I'm not loud and boisterous. I'm more of a kind of like the comedian's comedian, where it's like I kind of write for the funny people. And it's just naturally became part of my writing style. Even before I was a copywriter, I was still kind of always writing jokes and kept a little notebook where I'd write down funny things. And now I still have that notebook and I get to pop it into to copywriting.
Did you ever have like a moment or like a time when, like, once you started copywriting where you weren't sure if like that side of your personality like fit for the work you were doing, or was it always like, no, I'm just going to be me and just do it?
I got bit pretty early on when I got hired to write for people when they wanted to be funny, and I would make it funny, and then they'd be like, oh, I can't use any of this. So it was too much me and not enough them.
Okay.
So then I started like removing it entirely. And that's really when I got into just the elements of copywriting. When I was like, all right, I know how to do jokes. Let me focus entirely on copywriting. And that's when I went down the rabbit hole of, Eugene Schwartz, Copy Hackers, Copywriter Club, anything, any course I could buy, anything I could digest. That's when I went all in on learning the true fundamentals of copywriting. And the more I studied that, the more I realized that if you were to make like a Venn diagram of rules of comedy and rules of copywriting, it would be a circle.
Right.
Like the rules are identical. It's just different structures and different formats. And I just learned how to combine them both. And now I know how to write very formal, where I still use the setups from comedy and apply them into copywriting. You just don't make the joke. You just don't put in the punchline.
Yeah.
And it's good copy.
It's kind of like the same cadence and the same flow, and you have to obviously grab the attention. Yeah, it follows the same exact path. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the rules with comedy, it's more of an unexpected joke. And when you meet expectations, it's just copy. When you don't meet expectations, it's comedy. So that's kind of it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. All right. Well, funny people out there, if you're funny and you like comedy, like just be a copywriter and just follow the same rules and you'll be fine. So today I'm going to pull up this email. So we have an email sequence submitted from a group member. I don't think he cares about saying who it is, but just in case, I did change the name. So now we're actually working with Peter Dinklage's copy. So that should be fun. Hopefully it's, hopefully.
This works. It's funny because I almost used a Peter Dinklage meme the other day. One of the things I talk about is your spidey sense.
Okay.
And that's basically like when you're writing and you kind of get a feel like there's something more here. Yeah. And I call that your spidey sense. But I did the gift that I use is, rather than show the spidey sense, I did the Peter tingle, which is in the new Spider-Man Far From Home. So I talked about the Peter tingle, and I was going to put in a Peter Dinklage meme, and I was like, I don't know if everyone would quite get that.
It would have been a slight reach, but I think that's what you're really good at, are those slight reaches.
If you put in the right caption, it would come together. So I think I used the line, the one of Happy, which is I just forgot the guy's Tony Stark's assistant. Just him saying, "Oh, the Peter tingle," and I said, "It's like a Peter tickle, only less likely to get you pregnant," or something like that. So I still made it PG-13.
Okay.
But we're gonna talk about the spidey sense, or the Peter tingle. Which is relevant that you've got Peter Dinklage.
There we go. All right, so let me pull this up. Let's see. Zoom. All right, so like I said, this is an email sequence submitted by a group member, and just to give everyone a little bit of context, basically the target audience is kind of like English teachers in foreign countries that are teaching English. They might not have English as their first language, but their students definitely don't have English as their first language. So basically this is assuming that someone has signed up to their list through some sort of lead magnet. And now the goal with this series, this 4 email series, is to kind of stir up interest and engagement and obviously clicks and listens to the podcast. So it's pretty standard as far as an email sequence goes, as far as like a new subscriber sequence. But like we were talking about earlier, what we really want to do is punch it up, give it that personality, give it some humor, just to make it something a little bit more approachable and something more fun. Because I think that's an underrated part of getting someone to read your copy. It's not just the pain point immediately and the attention. It's like, is it enjoyable to read? Because then it's just going to be way more likely that we're going to read it. So Justin's really going to kind of take the reins on this. I'm going to add in my commentary here and there. He's actually has it open on his side, so he's going to be doing a lot of writing and editing and kind of just talking through how he works. So Justin, I guess just to kind of get us started, how do you approach copy that is given to you in this way? As far as someone says, hey, Justin, I have this copy. It just needs more. I'm not really sure where to go with it. What do you usually say to these people, and how do you kind of get started?
So the way that I find the right medium is like right now, let's say on a personality scale, and I haven't read all this. I didn't want to get too swayed, so I want you to see it happen live. So I don't know where this is, but like, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say that this is on a 1, and it's probably better than that. But let's just say that personality-wise, it's on a 1. What I'll do is try to make it like a 9 or a 10, knowing that that is too far. But by going too far, it's going to give me the freedom to play and go as just as weird as I want, and then I can dial it back.
Okay.
I know that the first jokes that I make are not going to be the best ones. I just want to get something down there and then edit it. So the idea is just to put something in. Sometimes it'll be my personality. Sometimes it'll be the personality of just whatever character I think of, knowing that that's not always going to be right. And that's when I edit. I just want to have a foundation to know where the jokes are going to be, where the beats are, where the cadence is, where the alliteration is. So I'm going to pop that in the first draft. And a lot of times I'll put in something that'll just be offensive, like not rated R offensive, but just an inappropriate joke. Yeah. Knowing that that's going to get cut, but I'll do it for me just to get it out of my head. Right. And then you never know what's going to come out of it. So essentially I'm going to dive in. I've got a second monitor over here. So if you see me looking to the side, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It's just that my screen is over here. All right, cool. So, and really quick, before we get started, guys, if you are, so Justin actually has a personality workshop that he's actually going to reopen only for people watching this. So wait to the end and we'll give you some details there. But if you like kind of his approach and how he does stuff, this is all he teaches in his workshop. So yeah, the doors on the beta round closed yesterday, but I'll open it up for you guys. So we're gonna go and dive in here, and I'm just gonna tinker around and let's just see what comes up. So one of the a new and free English language tool. What if I'm just gonna make it $0 English tool. Just because it's the name, my program is Write More Personality. Write More Personality, which is impossible to say. There was a placeholder name. I meant to change it, but people liked it, so I kept it. So I can just use that and do Write More Englisher. Hello, that's formal. So make that hey. Peter to English, and I'm the founder of an English language podcast called Send 7. It's a 7-minute daily news podcast where I provide world news in a clear British accent. Things sound smarter. I wanted these podcasts to be a way for students to learn English in their own personal way. With my podcast, they'll be able to practice anywhere they'd like. So we could do run desk on the can. So basically, going with the rule of 3 there, which is the minimum amount that you need to create a pattern. So you can set simple homework, and they can still improve. Something's wonky with that, and I'm not quite sure what it is. So you can set simple homework, and they can still improve. I wanted these podcasts to be a way for students to learn English in their own personal way. With my podcast, they'll be able to practice anywhere they'd like. So one of the things is they'll be able to. That's a lot of words, so we can just make that. I'll just tighten it up a little bit, because another rule with comedy is word economy. For stand-ups, they have 5 minutes to tell as many jokes as possible and to get more laughs per minute. In order to get more laughs per minute, you have to shorten your sentences and cut out any words that you don't need. It's just a way of making the setups cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And I apply the same rules to copy. I cut out lots of extraneous words. So anytime I see things like they'll be able to, I'll make it they can.
I love it. And then the specificity as far as like, because before it said, I think anywhere they'd like, and it's just so, I think it's probably the same in comedy too. When you're setting up the joke, you have to make it so, you have to let them visualize like where it's happening, how it's happening. So that's just another similar.
Yeah. And one of the rules with that is anytime I see a sentence that ends with a preposition, the fifth grade English teacher in me hates it. Like you're not supposed to end with a preposition. But for me, it's not. What I've learned is that's usually a signal that there's a chance to get more specific. Instead of like, where are you at? You can be like, what are you doing right this minute while you're sitting at your desk? I mean, that's not funny, but you can make it funnier. You can make it more specific, and you can make it more interesting, and you can paint a picture with it. Right. So anytime I see a word ending with a preposition, that's a spidey sense signal that there's something there.
That's a good takeaway.
With my podcast, they can practice anywhere they'd like, on a run, at their desk, on the can. And this actually would change this to, and you can set simple homework assignments to track their progress. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I think so.
There was a disconnect there.
Yeah.
You can set homework and they can improve, but I didn't quite see the connection there. So I just wanted to bridge that. As an ex-teacher, I think there's a way to, let's see, here's this, as an ex-teacher and a, where language rules come from. So here I'm tying it back into his authority with him being from Britain and, you know, talking about English. So kind of leveling that up, but I'm also trying to make it playful. So as an ex-teacher and a patriot of the place where language rules come from, I wanted to help people like you with the pressure you have to keep things fresh in the classroom. This is not right, but I know that there's something there.
Yeah.
Trustworthy, reliable, and consistent content for students that are craving. So I would make that, I always like to personify rather than objectify.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll change that to who, just because I want to focus on the people and make them seem a little bit more alive. Trustworthy, reliable, and consistent content for students who are craving the opportunity to hear more English. Spoken with my adorable accent. So that's not right. I'm just getting stuff out there, putting beats where I think that they are. So that's what I want to give you. And again, this is my American influence on English. So I want to, so I mean, if this were for people in America, I could just say, just like we gave you freedom. You know, something like that. It's too far, it's not right, but I just know there could be something there. My daily podcast and transcripts of each episodes are linked below. I'll be contacting you with free resources and tips on how Send 7 can help you. I think it's not just help you, it's also help you and your students in class. I have no doubt you'll find this extremely useful. So let me, I have no doubt you'll find this extremely useful. So that's not right, but I'm just getting something there. Don't worry, they're all free.
That's the theme of this, everyone. That's not right, but just do it anyways, because you can come back.
Yep, we can edit it. Don't worry, they're all free, and don't need to be download. This is so right there, I was about to just write, ain't nobody got time for that, which is, it's obvious, it's plain. So I was like, well, how do I make it more specific? It's not that time isn't the issue here. So how do I tie it into the download? Ain't nobody got data plans for that.
I'm trying to picture something like a British person saying that, and it just doesn't have the same.
That's right. But that's actually a great point. That's where the jokes and the beats, the jokes are wrong. The beats are places that we can play. This is where I would need to know more about who Peter Dinklage is and who the audience is to really dial it in and get this right. I'm putting Justin's spin on this, which is wrong. I would need to, if he were my client, I would know more about him. I would know his personality type. I would know his voice. I would know where and what jokes to use. Might even put in a meme or a GIF. But this is just showing you where you can play. I'm just hitting the beats. They're trail markers right now. Now I can go back in and tinker a little bit, and we won't spend too much time on this. I'm not gonna make this perfect, but let's see how we can change some of these jokes. So what if we did to these guys? I don't know that it's obviously gonna be new to them, so I think free is more important. So yeah, I'm just playing and making assumptions here. A $0 English language tool. Let's see. Hey, so-and-so, my name is Peter Dinklage, and I'm the founder of an English language podcast called Send 7. It's a 7-minute daily news podcast where I provide world news in clear British accent. No, I guess that was right. In clear British English, because things sound smarter with an accent. And I don't know that, see here, I don't think that he's going with smarter, looking back on it. So I think better is there. I wanted these podcasts to be a way for students to learn English in their own personal way. With my podcast, they can practice anywhere they'd like, on a run, at their desk, on the can, and you can set simple homework assignments to track their progress. As an ex-teacher and a patriot of the place where language rules come from, yeah, I think that works. I wanted to help people like you. Treasure. With the pressures you have to keep things fresh in the classroom. Hashtag teacher life. Trustworthy, reliable, and consistent content for students. So because I threw in a lot of extra words there, I would break up this paragraph. That's why I created trustworthy, reliable, and consistent content for students who are craving. So again, just ing words are sometimes, they trip you up. There's usually a verb or a modifier before it. So rather than like are craving, it's just students who crave. The opportunity to hear more English spoken with. And again, because he's doing it more as a gift, I just changed my to on accent because it seems like he's putting the emphasis more on the content rather than himself.
Right.
So that's what I want to give to you, just like we gave you your freedom. I know that's not right, but I'm going to leave it.
Yeah, reading it on the second go, and it's like, what do you mean? But,
it's totally wrong, but it's funny. I'm leaving it in there for me. You can take it out. My daily podcast and transcripts of each episode. Here's what we could do. How about just like we gave you the crumpets, or I don't know what other British foods there are. It's the only thing that's. Or how about Judi Dench? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of things from Britain. We could do big red buses, silly telephone bus booths.
I mean, the power in that too. Right, and it's
you can go stereotypical.
Yeah, And I like it because so everything has been, you basically laid out why you're here, like what you're talking about. And so then at the point where it's like, you're almost like acknowledging the fact that you're kind of just like talking about like not boring things, but very professional things, and just adding that in, it like gives the person like a second to chill and then keep reading.
Yeah, here we go. If we want to tie it back into language, I could do the proper pronunciation of. You ever heard of someone from Britain say aluminium?
Aluminium? Yeah.
They don't say aluminum. It's aluminium. They changed the whole. I probably spelled that wrong.
Yeah.
Aluminium. That's totally wrong. Or spelling of color, or the Oxford comma. Just you can put in anything from Britain. It's just merely how far you want to go with it.
Right.
My daily podcast and the transcripts of each episode are linked below. And I'll be contacting you with some free resources and tips on how Sen 7 can help you and your students in class. I have no doubt you'll find this extremely useful and how much you'll love me. I know that's not right, but it's just how much. So here's, what if we did this? Is it control X? Nope, that's the wrong one. So there, how much you'll love this. I love strike-through copy. It's a way to make a joke without making the joke. So it's like, I didn't really say that. I didn't mean to say that. So you can have fun with it, and then like, I didn't say that.
Yeah, it catches the eye too. It automatically grabs you there.
Yes, it's impossible to ignore. Don't worry, they're all free. I would say these are all free, or they're all free, and don't need to be downloaded. Ain't nobody got data plans for that, Peter. I think that works.
Yeah.
Even this, like micro copy, this is another fun place you can have fun. If you don't want any more communications from 7, you can unsubscribe here. That's not right, but it's just showing you that there is a place to have fun. And that's actually one of the things that we teach in the courses, like have fun in unexpected places.
I love it.
So here we go. Your free teaching assistant. So again, I did this before. I know that it probably wasn't the right place, but we can do this. I can make that $0. Just showing you that the replacement of free, it can be used anywhere.
Right.
Or what if I did I want to use symbols. $0 teaching assistant has arrived. Or you know what? What if we played with what if we go more feelings? What if we play with 7 deadly sins? So rather than your free teaching assistant, this is going to be totally wrong and off brand, but I'm still going to do it anyway. That's just an example of how to play with emotions and get a little bit, I don't know what the right would be, pride. I'm trying to think what the right, one of the 7 deadly sins in there.
Maybe greed.
Maybe greed. So there's lust, gluttony. I have these written on a Post-it note here because I use them all the time. Lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride. So, all right. So if I wanted to work with sloth.
Your teaching assistant you're working too hard. No.
I can't type well. You're working too hard. And let's see. Let's go with wrath. These are not right. These are off-brand. I'm just getting them out.
Do you like using these 7 deadly sins kind of for headlines and subject lines, or is it just wherever you kind of see fit?
I do it wherever. Whenever I see an opportunity to spice up copy, when I get the spidey sense, that's when I just kind of go to the 7 deadly sins and just try them. Okay. And then we've also got the 7 virtues, which we can play with as well, and I'll show you them. Let's say pride. The teacher in, I don't know where they are, who the audience is from, but because he's from England, I'll write England. I want to become the best teacher in England. We can go with also with more sloth. We can tie in sloth and greed. So the easiest way possible to become the best teacher in, I don't know where they are. So just ways to tie it in and punch it up.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to go with, if we want to go with virtues, we can go kindness, humility. This tool would make me smart. See, now I'm off at this point, but I know that. I'm just getting stuff out.
Yeah.
Diligence. Easy ways to learn is in the world about English. I don't know. You can just see how I'm tying stuff in there.
Yeah, and I love it as kind of an alternative to just figuring out different pain points to try and hit, like especially in the headline and subject line. These are kind of the feelings that everyone can relate to in some way. So kind of just figuring out what feels good by just, and it's not like just it's not like 7 random things. It's the 7 virtues, these 7 sins that everyone kind of has inside of them. So it's a way to kind of just test out headlines for anyone watching this and wants to figure out how to test their headlines.
Yeah. We're not teaching out of textbook, are you?
I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. And that's a headline formula. That's from the Headline Project, just stuff stuck in my brain. All right, so let's go into the body copy here. Here are a few tried and tested easy classroom exercises that you can do with the Send 7 podcast. Here's what works. Let's see. I tried 4,297 ways to. So what are we trying to do here? Tried and tested easy classroom exercises you can do with Send 7. I don't know what we're trying to accomplish here yet. So let's see if we can tie that in. I don't know what's in it for me. Blanking out words to provide a transcript. So ways to teach with the podcast. Right. Ways to make teaching. I actually like his start better, but so we're going with 3. Again, I can do the cross out here again. Now I'm going back to the well. I'm just repeating something there. So I wouldn't necessarily do that in back-to-back emails, but I'm just showing you ways to do it. Mm-hmm. But that does sort of plant the seeds. It's anchoring. I know we're only doing 3, but it does show you that there are more ways to use it. Right. So it does kind of make it a little bit more interesting. But that goes back to the anchoring technique. It's like someone says, I'm not going to charge you $1,000. I'm not even going to charge you $600. It's only going to be $7. Right. Now it seems incredibly cheap because you compared it to $1,000 and compared it to $600. 7 seems like nothing.
Whereas if you just said this is $7, they'd be like, "Damn! Like, why isn't it $5?" Yeah.
Right. Not that $7 is expensive, but you get the idea. 3 ways to make. Here are a few tried and tested easy classrooms. So when I see tried and tested, that means to me, I'm going to start over here. Boy, did I mess this up. So it just shows you that you got to a solution through trial and error.
Yeah.
So it's a way of kind of, that's a signal right there that you can show that you really did try it and you really did test it. And here's how you came to these things.
So you don't have to go through all the crap that I went through.
Yeah. Boy, so that's just a good way of like kind of jumping right in. Boy, did I mess this up. I tried, and then if we, let me try. I'm just throwing in random numbers, but I'm going to get rid of the strike through here. Ways to make teaching easy. Turns out teachers have a pretty difficult job. So that's a kind of a way of showing the relatability.
Yep.
Like I tried your job and I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I have and my and I cannot type. So again, I know that that's off, but it just shows you ways to inject yourself into the copy a little bit more, make it relatable. There's a little bit of self-deprecation in there, plus a little bit of kissing ass. Like, I tried your job, I couldn't do it. I messed it up. Your job is hard. You know, it's I couldn't do it your way, but I found a way to do it my way. So it's sort of more of the origin story behind it.
Yeah, and that's just kind of a good example too of entering the conversation, because it's like in the back of the person reading this head, like if it's a teacher, they're like, this person doesn't know shit about my job.
Yeah,
that's what they're thinking. So,
and that's so this plays into that. Like, I can't do your job. I tried, but I can do my job.
Yeah.
And here's how I would approach your job with my skills.
I like that. I can't do your job, but I can do my job. Here's how I can help you.
Yeah. Like that words from provided transcripts and getting into, man, I didn't realize it was already 37 minutes in. Here, if you tried classrooms, you could do a Send 7 podcast. So blanking out words from the provided transcripts, getting into class, blanking out words from the provided transcripts. So this, okay. Blanking out words from the provided transcripts. I need a mental picture of that. And to me, I'm seeing like confidential documents that have been redacted.
Redacted, yeah.
The word when they're putting the black lines through like government forms. So we can make this an analogy. Blacking out words like the redacted parts. I'm going to go political here. You know what? Let's not even go there. Let's go with
something. Yeah.
With JFK's vault. Because I going political is just never a good thing. So this is more historical than political. Like the redacted parts. That's not the right analogy.
Yeah.
But but putting in an analogy here, I think works. Blanking out words from the, I would actually, rather than blanking out, I'm going to make it blacking out words from the provided transcripts, like the redacted parts from JFK's vault. There's an analogy there, but that's not the right one. And getting the class to listen to the podcast to fill them in. So I see why he had blanking, because it's a fill in the blank. But I made it blacking. It's probably not right. Again, I'm just doing this for the first time here. Trying to summarize the content of the podcast in their own words, and he's got the UK spelling of summarize. So trying this. So rather than trying to, let's go with summarizing content, the podcast in their own words, and then using some of the words and phrases in their own mini presentations to give. I mean, a 2-minute presentation is still a presentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your own presentations to be given in the class if they are at a confident level. I'm going to go with if and when, kind of showing that they will become. So just paint the when. Changing an if to a when is just more of a confident maneuver to do it like that. This podcast are only 7 minutes. There's another analogy here. What's something you can do in 7 minutes? The time it to do
8 push-ups. Oh, wow. There it is. 4 push-ups.
Let's see. Actually, if I want to show that it's only 7 minutes, I would say less time.
Yeah, okay.
And it takes me to do 4 push-ups. But we could do, if we want to go back into British things, again, I'm going to go boil tea kettle. Let's see. Let's see. Cipher your handwriting. What else can take 7 minutes? I'm just thinking of dirty things right now. Time it takes to reach heaven in the closet. 7 minutes of heaven.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, but you see that there's something there.
Yeah.
You can easily work them around other exercises during your classes. They're flexible and free for you to use. Flexible. So what's rigid and expensive? Unlike the Eiffel Tower. It's a bad analogy. This is a terrible joke, which should be cut. Lower the links. So that was just showing a way of playing opposites to have fun. Totally not the right words. Below are the links to listening exercises and transcripts. I hope you find them as useful as I did. So this, I would actually try to play with social proof as my, as the 7 million people who downloaded them.
It's quite fun.
To your feedback. Not only I think that's actually doubling down on the joke. I don't think that needs to be there. Just to go too far with it. I could go touchy. I could go thin-skinned. Are as sensitive as we are pale. Me going too far, but it just shows you that there are jokes here.
Yeah.
So, by the way, they will always be free to use. Just like ketchup packets at Chick-fil-A. They don't have Chick-fil-A in Britain. But
why would you get ketchup at Chick-fil-A when they have Chick-fil-A sauce? But anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you could just put something there. They'll always be free to use. So I could say like they just like ketchup, or just like ketchup packets, or just like ketchup packets at Chick-fil-A.
And you're not, and it's good because I mean, you're not, for anyone watching and like figuring out how can we be funny, it's not about just throwing in a joke to throw in a joke. It's to like make an important part more memorable, right?
Yes, the height of listening comes after a laugh.
Okay.
And if people see like, oh, this guy's funny, they're gonna lean in and they're gonna pay attention,
Right.
because they know that you might be tickling them again later on, and they're like, you've caught their attention, you stood out.
Mm-hmm.
So, just little ways to do that.
I think we can do maybe one. I think there's 4 emails, but maybe let's just do the third one, and then we can kind of just wrap up.
Okay, cool. So here are the best class tests I know. Let's go slang. Let's see. I'm just making sure we're on the right. Yes, I got it. Did you get? Let's see. Did you try the exercises I sent in my last email? If you missed them, I'll put links at the bottom of this video. I would actually. Oh yeah, that works. That's good because you're preparing them. You're updated every day, so. So I was just, I don't know. So there'll always be something new. Sweet. Puppy. I don't know. I'm just making myself laugh. As an ex-foreign language teacher myself, let's see. Let's see. A linguistics teacher, a veterinary college. Ever tried teaching? Oh, that's. So there we go. I just reverse set up a joke. So I was a linguistics teacher at a veterinary college. Ever tried teaching Cantonese to a donkey? So, I'm setting up for like, I taught the students, but then I go to teaching the animals. So I know it's not fun to explain a joke. It totally kills it, but that's just a reversal. That's essentially what that joke is. I'm trying to think of classics that would fit that. And of course I'm coming up blank. I know they're good ones, but I'm on camera and under pressure. So I'm just going to pretend that you just laughed. So I'm going to go back to this. As an ex-foreign language teacher myself, I was a linguistics teacher at a veterinary college. Ever tried teaching Cantonese to a donkey? I understand how difficult, that's funny. I understand how difficult it is to constantly have to set homework and chase students to finish it. I can even do, especially when they're in. So that's just a callback to the donkey. I know how tough it can be to prepare students for exam. Sorry, just got a funny picture in my head now. Let's see, listening exercises make great mini tests. They'll give you quick feedback on the level of students so you can find their level instantly. I don't like that there's level twice here. I'll give you quick feedback on the level of students so you can find out I would say track their progress. I know that listening exercises are often quite difficult, but I've spoken slowly and clearly to make it easier for your students to maximize the benefits. There can be a joke here, but there shouldn't be. Right now, we're talking about the benefits. We want to be real. We've already got them listening. We've already got them laughing. We've got them paying attention. This is the time to be serious.
Okay.
Could make a joke, but I'm not going to. Let me know if I can be assistance for you. I would also tie back in to the loop at the beginning where you said I put the links at the bottom. Then maybe just, did I get that right? So something like that. That's as far as I would go. This is short. This is sweet. It does have an important message. So I wouldn't make it overly funny. This is a place where it's okay to lead with humor, but you want to end with a proven benefit.
Right. Because as soon as that's the thing with humor, I think that people are scared of. They're scared of offending, and it can be like if you do put it in the wrong place, like you said, it can just kind of erase all the credibility and jokes. Because it's like, you're funny until you're not, and then it's like, okay, this guy's
so. But that's why I wrote like 6 different versions of the jokes where I went too far.
Yeah,
I put it in, but then you dial it back. When I go too far, it's just me making connections, and it's getting myself to laugh.
Yeah,
because it lightens me up.
Yeah,
and I do it for myself. And I know most of the stuff that I put in there would not make the cut. It would need to be edited. It's a tough word to say. Edited back to fit the audience, to fit Peter Dinklage, to get the voice, to get the tone. I'm just kind of coming in cold and doing this. I'm putting my voice into this and kind of guessing it there.
And it's really just knowing and being able to see the cadence and the spots. The spots are way more important, like you said, than the actual content of the joke.
Yep. And like, if we only wanted to do one joke, we could just cut out those other spots, but you get to decide. Now that they're in there, they're easy to take out. The harder part is putting them in.
Last email is like 3 lines, actually. Do you want to just try and knock it out really quick?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. 3 lines. Let's see.
All right.
These English language materials are yours. Unlike my cat. And use mine. That's terrible. Insert name. I hope the emails in the past few days have been useful. I'll continue to make these podcasts so that you'll always be able to access. There's a lot of words here. I hope the emails from the last few days have been useful. I'll continue to make these podcasts so that you'll always be able to access the episodes whenever you need them. There's something. So, not the right joke. But just the way, wait, you're going to do what? So you kind of set it and then pull it back. So especially because I'm going to send them to you every day for the next 25 years, even if you unsubscribe. Kidding, but I will put out new content every day that you can access whenever you want. Right? They're uploaded every single day, so you'll always have another one to use in your classes for your students. There's stuff that I can tighten here. I'll continue to provide you with transcripts of each of the episodes that you can use for different writing. So
that's a great way to end it.
So yeah, that's all I do. I mean, it could be Titans, but I know that we're running long on time. So basically just showing you where the jokes could be.
I love it. And yeah, I think that one of the big takeaways from this, everyone, is like you're gonna get attention. Like they pay attention. You almost force attention when you have a joke. So like around that, if you want something to be remembered, you have to kind of jolt them out of the zombiness of reading an email that you're inevitably gonna run into. So anytime you can jolt them out of that, just to get them to pay attention, do that, but don't just tell a joke to show that you're a funny person. Do it to get their, get them aware and awake.
Yeah. And again, it's also fun to do this just because it makes the first draft more fun.
Yeah.
My first drafts are long, rambly pieces of garbage, and they are riddled with jokes, or even just a place where I just write the word joke in capital letters in parentheses, knowing that's my spidey sense. There's something here. There's tension that I can break with a joke. It could be a GIF. It could be a meme. And we didn't even look at memes and GIFs, but we can spend another hour on that. But it's just kind of finding ways and places to make it more enjoyable.
And it's just some magic, like when you do it this way, and then even if you walk away for like 30 minutes or an hour and then you come back and it just hits you, it's just so much easier to clean it up rather than make it perfect on your first go around.
You know what I also find amazing is, because it'll just be like ruminating in the back of my head after I do the first draft, I can go sit down and watch TV and the character will say a joke and the punchline will be perfect. Right. And it's like that punchline works with my setup.
Yeah.
So then you steal like an artist and you just drop in the funny phrase exactly as is, and it works.
I love it. Awesome. Let me run quick to the Facebook group, see if anyone commented. I'm so bad at that part of this, like actually seeing if people are talking and stuff. Okay, people like the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues, says that's gold. Drea said, hello, Smarty Pants Riders. What's up, Drea? And yeah, all right, cool. So if there's, what do you want to leave the people with? People that, so they're into this idea of writing with more personality. Like we said at the beginning, I think everyone wants to do it. Everyone likes the idea of writing with more personality. What is, I think we touched on as we went along, but like, how can people kind of put that personality hat on as they approach the copy? Like, what is just like, how should they just make it easy on themselves?
It's a couple different ways. The biggest thing to do is just don't judge yourself. I mean, you saw what I just put out there is garbage. I would clean all of that up. There's nothing that I wrote, well, maybe 1 or 2 lines that I would probably keep as is. It's just getting it out there, giving yourself permission to be silly, giving yourself permission to have fun. If you can't do it, I mean, you can just surround yourself with funny, entertaining things. I mean, that's why I've got all this stuff here. It's a reminder whenever I look around, and I've got even more stuff right there, just to have fun.
Yeah.
You just need to surround yourself with a creative space. And, whenever, you can't see it here, but I'll show it to you. Whenever I get a little judgy, I've got these guys sitting right here on my desk. And it's dumb, but it reminds me, like, stop being a jerk.
Yeah.
And, like, have fun with it. And I even say, like, what would Statler and Waldorf say right here?
Mm-hmm.
Or what would Fozzie Bear say? I've got him right here. But I surround myself with these guys to embrace them and think, what joke would they make?
Yeah.
And I'll write that joke. And then once I know that a joke can be made, or maybe it doesn't work, that's when I start tinkering. And it's not even necessarily a joke. It could just be an analogy or just a punchier word. Whenever I see like a dull verb, it's chances to have more fun and to play and really just make the writing more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think that's it, man. It's just like giving yourself permission to like, because it's weird. Like it's like I catch myself doing it a lot too, where I'm writing and then I'm like, wait, hold on, and then you just kind of just start typing like this, and then the madness becomes pretty beautiful, and then you can kind of make it, like you said, dial it back to a 6 or whatever it has to be. Yeah. But it's literally just giving yourself permission to like, just be a fool and just use whatever madness you have and just get it out there.
The best lines that I've ever written are edits of terrible lines that I threw out, like, so when I was just like writing line after line of like the British thing, where I was like, because we gave you Judi Dench or the big red bus, the things like that. By going too far and just rattling off take after take after take, that's when you find the good stuff. And it's the same thing when you watch the blooper reel of any like Seth Rogen movie or anything directed by Judd Apatow. When they film dozens of takes, you're only seeing the good one. But they film so many lines where they just let the actors go and just riff until something comes out that's usable.
Yeah, I was watching like Anchorman 2 blooper reels or something.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, it's like, I've never really thought about comedy and copywriting in this same like way, but it is like literally the exact same thing except without the punchline. So I mean,
the setups are there. The rule of three, the cadence, the word economy, it's all there.
All right. Plug your workshop, man. Tell the people what's going on.
So I just closed the doors yesterday. It's at justinblackman.com. It was originally copybydummies.com, not copy for dummies, but copy by dummies. But it's justinblackman.com. So it's basically an hour and a half of videos where I teach you the science of everything that I just did. We go into examples, things like that. I've got breakdowns and punch-ups exactly like we just did here, where I'm working with 3 or 4 different writers. And you see over-the-shoulder writing as I'm doing this. So if you like this, then you'll like the course. And I also have, there's a 4-part walkthrough of a first draft to a final draft of one of my top performing emails, which is funny, got a really good response. There are 106 people in the course, so it's doing well. And the only refund that I've had is when someone they were in the beta round, the first beta round, and they liked it so much that they bought it the second time, not realizing that they got a free upgrade. So
refund, nice.
So I refunded them. So yeah, the doors are closed. I'll tell you what, if you want in, I'll tell you, I'll open it up right now. If anyone wants to jump in, log in.
This is one of the benefits of watching these live, guys. So if you're watching this tomorrow, sorry.
So it is 5:00. Yeah, or you can ping me. So the beta round did just close, but let's see if anyone's on the page and refreshes the browser, it's open right now. Feel free to check it out. If you're watching this later, you can ping me, and if I'm feeling lucky, then or if you're feeling lucky, then maybe we'll make it work.
If you're feeling lucky. All right. Cool, man. This was really fun. This is definitely a rare opportunity. People don't get to see writers actually write ever. So I appreciate you doing this. Guys, if you're watching this, you probably already know Justin. He's like internet famous. But
very, very small circle.
But yeah, check out his stuff. Go to justinblackman.com. Check out his workshop. If you're watching this, take advantage today because it won't be open past that. So Justin, I appreciate you. Good chatting with you as always.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing, if you go to prettyflycopy.com, which is my writing site, you'll see that's where I wrote the headline project, 10,000 headlines over the course of 100 days. Some of the lines that I wrote there, like you're not still teaching from textbooks, are you? Those are some of the headline formulas that I used during that project. There's a 10,211 line swipe file there that anyone can go and just pull stuff from.
You must have been pretty psychotic to do that, but
yeah, it was dumb. That's what I do. I go overboard.
Cool. All right. Appreciate you, Justin. Thanks everyone for watching. See you around. Peace.